Hey Heather, how we doing? Hope all's good. Bear with me. I hate travelling. So let's have a look at some of your feedback. Let's have a look at some of these videos. Right. Yeah, I mean, in general, yeah, there's not a huge amount from the actual movement itself. It's just looking very relaxed at the moment, like very chilled out. I know the weight is light for you at the moment, but this is the perfect chance for you to kind of nail this stuff down and kind of get it looking extra crispy. Just with a lot of these kind of little to no bracing, really. I mean, like the belt just being on with this amount of weight for you is kind of doing the job. I mean, your bar paths on every rep is looking pretty spot on, really. I mean, like, can't really get much better than that. Good weight distribution. Like I said, it just looks a little relaxed. You know, it's just kind of like breathe and just kind of plummet down. And then as you start getting a little bit more tired, the reps kind of junt you around a little bit at the bottom. So let's just have a look at that. Yeah, particularly with this, with the ramp, there's just kind of like the body's going down, and it rocks forward, and it's up, and it rocks forward, and it's one of those that's sort of like just taking that into heavier and heavier work. That kind of rock forward will really throw you off pace, but generally pretty good. It's light, but we just gotta remember to keep it tidy. Let's have a look at this. This is another one with a ramp. Nope, right. God, and that rack is a bitch to actually unrack the bar initially. Yeah, I mean, like, really, let's just have a look. Like, heel or not. You know, it's neither here nor there. I mean, I don't have a major sort of aversion to you wanting heels. I mean, if you want them and you want to try something different, it might add just like a little bit of flavour to your training. I just think your squat's really well balanced, no matter which way we do it. What I would be looking to do as we go kind of further down this path is looking to try and coach the knees out a little more, because at the moment it is very much you rely on just great mobility. You know, you're kind of way under depth here. So the more we can get you to kind of turn out and sort of like shorten that moment arm between the hips and the bar path might just give you that little bit, you know, even if we can get 5% out of like the glutes and hips, you know, you're strong enough that that's going to translate pretty well, rather than just purely relying on the quads entirely, you know, to kind of get you out of jail. Generally, yeah, this is something just as the footage starts rolling in, we can make more informed decisions on it. But either way, it's pretty solid, really. Yeah. That would be my only thing really at the moment. Just take it easy, relax. You know, sleeves can come off potentially during this phase. Don't have to. I'm not major really on sleeves, but they do help. I think the Ray-Bans you've got on really of all sleeves don't add that much. Okay, so a little bit of uneven foot placement on the bench here, so you can see the right foot's leading the way, but you're pretty rock solid, really. I just want to watch this setup a little bit. Yeah, it's really good, Heather. It's pretty solid. Right, now for you, because you're able to get into such a big arch, for this upcoming week, okay, let's try and bring that down a little bit. Let's try and get it slight. You know, I want you to get the shoulders back. I want the shoulders depressed and down before you go. Okay, as the bar's coming down towards you, I want you constantly pushing your chest up to try and meet the bar at its highest point. But let's just for now, while we're in this block, we want to basically extend the range of motion as long as possible. So let's just take the arch out of it for now. Okay, so I'll correct that on the program and we'll just label it as like flat back bench for now. There's a couple of things in there. Again, I want to get the information in first. Let's get it in, and then we rather than just sort of like going off of one bit of footage, you know, it could have been a fluke. So let's have a look. Okay, right, deadlift. So we need you to stand half an inch further away from the bar. Okay, if you can see on these reps here, on every rep, as you drop the knees down, the bar rolls away from you. Okay, so when you're re-watching this footage, okay, just watch what the plates are doing as you drop the hips down. Okay, every time you're dropping down, they're touching the shin and they're rolling away. So your entire setup then is just that little half inch off. Yeah, and you're very back dominant at the moment. Okay, so in those conventional pulls, what we will do over time is we'll look at trying to get the legs in there a little bit more, get you used to pushing the floor down, okay, pushing the platform away from you, and then let the big strong back kind of kick in and take over, rather than at the moment you're almost stiff legging that at the moment. Again, this is all light work for you and you're making it look easy. I think really you're probably undercooking the RPE just a little bit here. I would rather you always err on the side of caution, but I think you're just undercooking it a tiny bit. But this is what this first couple of weeks are all about, is just information gathering. And I think you can pull your shoulders down a lot more, okay? The key for you is not keeping the shoulders back in the deadlift. It's pulling them down as low as possible, okay? So do the opposite of a shrug. That's going to give you the longest arms possible. And that's just going to help you out there with that little bit when it starts to get heavy, particularly in the sumo, because you have got that very narrow grip on the sumo. Yeah, all day. Yeah, fair play. You're really quite a smooth lifter. Yeah, wrist straps look a little baggy. I don't know if those are the ones that you usually... They look quite baggy there, kind of really bulging out from the wrist. Okay, see if you can tie it up so that it's basically more along here. Okay, you want the wrist strap to kind of loop in and around the base of the thumb, not down here and almost wearing it like a sweatband, because from there I can still do all this. Okay, it's a little bit higher up. You can't. There's a limit to how far you can have it, but really, as long as it's sort of like over the wrist joint and not down here, then we're good. Generally, moving really good. I like here that the banded clamshells, perfect alteration for hip adductor. Let me know whether you're going to be stable in a gym now for a while and hip adductor is something you're not going to have access to. So let me know about that, just because I want to keep the inside of the thighs, the groin, basically healthy, particularly as we move on to sumo further down the way. Program, where are you? So keeping things pretty much the same, okay? If you just make sure kind of either at the end of the week or as you go, you're filling in the weights on these that you do. And then the only thing that's on there is going to be a little bit different is there's a session RPE to be filled in now. If I just open it on here. So basically all it is it's just another bit of information for me to be able to have a look and just see whether we need to pull back or whether things are, you know, going as they should be. All it is, drop down, straightforward, and then scale of 1 to 10. It basically gives you a little bit of a summary of kind of what each of them mean, and then again that will go into your dashboard, and then all this stuff will start populating basically once the weights have been entered. Really, I want to keep it kind of as prescribed. So the RPE's jumped up a tiny bit. Just set up that 1 inch further away from the deadlift, not even an inch, you know what I mean? It's got to be this much. It's just so when you're dropping the hips down, so I don't want to see the bar kind of like dink and kind of roll away from you at all. And that's it really for this. So let's just try and get the bench into flat back. So we'll just kind of... Still want the pause in there. Yeah. So we want the flat back across the board. Again, just while we're in this hypertrophy phase... Flat bench. Just while we're in this sort of phase, we want to be extending range of motions as long as possible, and then we can start chipping things away when we're looking to maximize the weight on the bar later on down the way. Generally really good. Yeah, really good. So it's another week of information gathering from our side. So just keep the footage coming in. Any questions you're not sure of, just drop me a line, Heather. Okay, you've been good so far in that you just sort of drip feeding them in. But if you are unsure of anything, or if you want to double check, or there's something niggling or painful, let me know straight away, and we'll start putting some rehab protocols in there for you straight away. All right, all the best.